Thank you, Eva. Good afternoon from snowy Riga. Today, my presentation, I would say, will be a bit shorter than in other webinars, as part of you may know that both procurements for ENE and CCS design and build are ongoing. So we have limited options what we can for what we can inform you. However, still there are some topics I would like to touch upon today to focus maybe more on the scope and the current status. I already saw some questions in the slide as well, that there is interest on CCS candidates. So yes, yesterday we had the opening, so in my presentation you will get this info as well, so very fresh one. And then I would like to start with energy subsystem design and build procurement. Before I go to the current status, once again I want to show you the scheme which introduces the scope, because as one of today's topics is subcontracting, then I think it is valuable once again to go through the disciplines what are included in the scope. So once again, all 870 kilometers of Rail Baltica is in the scope of this procurement. It will be SFC technology, and it will include all three main systems, so overhead catenary, traction substations, and energy control command system. So I would say these, if you are in the energy sector in these disciplines, the further information also for you will be valuable. If we speak about the status, currently we are heavily working on the second stage procurement documents to be able to launch the second stage of the procurement beginning of May or end of April, depends how it will go. And with a plan to conclude the contract January, February, so beginning of next year. And here you can see full deployment timeline. And here I want to also stress that part which is on the right side, so the deployment of the construction, design and construction. So again, considering the scope that I already presented, and if you see that your company would be interested to be part of this deployment, then I can show you the list of the candidates which we currently have qualified for the second stage of energy design and build procurement. So these are three big candidates consisting of all, I would say, main market players in the field. Therefore, if you see any ideas or you're interested to be part of the project, I would kindly ask to look into possible cooperation. I will further in my presentation inform also on subcontracting approaches, but this will be a bit later. And then CCS. So here as well, I want to show you all the systems, what are included, because it's not the TSI only. So it includes all the systems related to the control, command, and signaling of the railway. Therefore, again, if you find somewhere in the list the systems where you're interested in to propose or offer your services or products, then again, you're kindly invited to follow CCS design and build procurement and to see which candidates will be qualified and invited for the second stage of the procurement, and who at the end will be the contracted entity. And as well on the status, so for ENE we have already second stage very close. For CCS, we are still in the first stage of the procurement. So as I said yesterday, we have opened the applications in the first stage. So now we will start to go through and evaluate which candidates shall be qualified and which ones not. And again, the aim is to launch the second stage in autumn this year and conclude the contract in mid-2024. And as well here you can see on the right side full deployment timeline, which is ahead. And here the timeline is even until 2032, but this is including the defect notification period, so the time after the operations as well. And with big pleasure, I introduce you the list of the candidates what we have now in the CCS design and build procurement. So we have received 5 applications. Here you can see the candidates and the partners of the persons of the partnerships. Again, I would say we have, I think, reached a great result, and all the main market players are participating. So, as I said before, if you see that your products or services are something that is included in the scope, and then I kindly ask to follow up later who will be the qualified candidates, and then you can already plan some and propose some cooperation. And the last slide on the subcontracting approach, a few things I want to mention. First of all, regarding the subcontractors, the main idea and what we also have, for what we have also received an explanation from Latvian Procurement Monitoring Bureau. So it is possible to indicate in the procurement subcontractors, several of them simultaneously for the same scope of works. So in case there is a scope where you don't know for sure which will be the solution to be chosen further when the contract will be executed, there is an option to indicate several of them. Of course, for all of the subcontractors, the exclusion ground check will have to be done, but it gives flexibility to indicate several ones, and then the contractor during the contract execution can choose which one of them will be chosen actually for doing that scope. Here I want to mention also one aspect. This was touched upon also in my presentation in previous webinar, that currently ENE and CCS procurements are organized according to previous Latvian public procurement law. So it means the requirements on the exclusion ground check for the subcontractors is according to previous version of public procurement law. So this means that the subcontractors which will be indicated in ENE or CCS procurement phase will be checked according to previous Latvian public procurement law. It means it will be checked against the exclusion grounds only the subcontractors which scope is 10% or more from the total contract price. And the second aspect, of course, is that it is allowed to attract new subcontractors during the contract execution. So therefore, this is not also the case that if you haven't indicated a subcontractor during the procurement, you are not able to attract and or replace the subcontractors later. In this case, the situation will be a bit different regarding the exclusion ground check. So during the contract execution, if a new subcontractor will be attracted or existing one replaced, then the exclusion ground check will be done according to the new Latvian public procurement law. So it means that it will be checked all subcontractors which scope or share of the contract is 10,000 euros or more. So the difference is quite huge before, between the regulation before we had and the new one. So actually this is all from my side. Eva, if there aren't any questions, please.